Fortnite Chapter 6 is already being revealed, including the Battle Pass skins, the brand new map, and much more, including new item shop skins, which I cannot wait to gift you guys, since I still give 5 subscribers every single day who drop a like, turn on all notifications, and leave a comment with their epic ID. Quick thanks to these loyal subs, and a massive thank you to you guys taking a few seconds to type Doom in the Fortnite item shop right now. I appreciate it a ton. So you may have noticed that these new leaked skins share a Japanese samurai theme, and that will indeed be the main theme of Chapter 6 Season 1. In fact, the loading screen that just came with the Chapter 2 Remix Battle Pass confirms this. If you take a closer look, the first hint is someone wearing a gas mask with a Japanese samurai styled helmet, which fun fact is called a kabuto. Above this image is a similar hint of an Oni mask, which is a common feature of Japanese folklore that represents Japanese demons. To the left of this, we see an image of a Japanese styled environment with cherry blossom petals on the ground, and below that looks like a cartoon version of a kappa, which is a legendary creature from Japanese folklore that has the beak of a bird, the limbs of a frog, the body of a monkey, and the shell of a turtle. So once you notice all these small things, the Japanese theme becomes pretty clear, but the final image on the bottom left of a city starts to raise some questions for me, because obviously this should remind us all of Mega City from Chapter 4 Season 2 that also had like a Japanese theme, but it definitely doesn't look like that same exact city, so I'm not sure if all of the lore from the Mega City season will apply to Chapter 6 Season 1. And it's not just that loading screen either, because the Meowtis loading screen in the Battle Pass has a few Easter eggs and hints for the Japanese Season 2, because on the left you see the shadow of a samurai looking helmet as well as a katana, which means this character will probably be in the Battle Pass next season. And then if we look on the right, we see a massive character that seems to have a relatively small sized head, which leads us to the first probable confirmed Battle Pass skin, this character that showed up in the Fortnite concept survey. The shadow seems to have similar ears and a similar shoulder piece, but admittedly there are a lot of human body with animal head concept skins, so it could turn out to be someone else. I also want you guys to focus on this logo on the armor here, because this will probably end up being the logo for one of the new factions Fortnite introduces to us. So let me know if it looks familiar to you guys or if it reminds you of something, but I'm pretty sure we haven't seen this exact logo before. The other shadow clearly has an Oni mask shoulder guard, which is another common motif found in the survey skins, so one of these characters will definitely be showing up in the Battle Pass too. We will probably get an explanation for why these characters have animal heads all of a sudden, because there are references in the files already that detail cat-like creatures named Sprites, which according to the dictionary is an elf, fairy, or a disembodied spirit or ghost. In the Fortnite game files, it says they can be found in the air, water, or on the ground, and we will be able to bring them to the shrines in game where they'll then disappear. Since they can get scared, angry, or happy, it sounds like an animal that we'll be able to tame, but then they'll direct us to a shrine to take them to. Their description seems to fit a kitsune from Japanese folklore, which are supernatural trickster foxes with godlike powers that can either be mischievous or good. This game mechanic also reminds me of the magic ball the Spire Guardians dropped in Chapter 2 Season 6 that we could bring to the center of the map to receive the Spire Jump Boots mythic item, because we'll also be able to drop the Sprites according to the files. That dark mysterious ball actually just reminded me of the Void mechanic that will be introduced in Chapter 6 as well. It is in the files being referenced by 2 upcoming augments called Void Junk Rift and Void Shield. So yes, that also confirms the return of the augments from Chapter 4. However, it seems this time they will be integrated a little bit differently. Other names of these new augments include Agile Mending, Headshot Hunter, Healthy Pouncer, Reveling Revealer, and Vehicle Modifier. I'm pretty excited these are coming back because I thought they were a great feature in Chapter 4. Hopefully this doesn't mean we lose the medallions from Chapter 5 though, because they are kind of similar. And actually, it turns out there's even more new game mechanics we can expect, including swinging and rappelling from ropes. The animations for this are already in the files, but now that I think about it, they seem seem kind of pointless to use if you can just build wherever you want anyways. And yes, I know there is a zero build mode too, but ziplines already pretty much serve that same purpose. Maybe there are some situations in game that I'm just not thinking about right now, but there is also an open world game mode that's being worked on still apparently, so it is possible it could be meant for that. A different new mechanic that actually does make sense to me is the new prone mechanic where you can lay flat on the ground, and I remember this first being leaked a long time ago, so I'm glad that they're finally updating it again and we'll finally see it in game. And finally, there was a wall running mechanic detected in the files a while ago, and in fact I believe it was first leaked during the chapter 4 season 2 season, so personally I would much rather see this come to the game than the rope swinging and rappelling. Even if it was only possible while having like a certain item or augment, I think it would provide a great twist to the gameplay of Fortnite, because in other games I've played with this mechanic, it really adds a whole new dynamic to the gameplay that makes it refreshing. Even if they just added this feature like every few seasons or something, I think it would make everyone happy. A game mechanic I know everyone will be excited to see return are the bosses, and data miners have already found a wandering boss that includes 2 different sets of bosses under categories FS and P, which represent the actual names of the bosses. And then we also have a boss codenamed Puppeteer that can teleport and haunt players. Unfortunately, there are no mythic weapons or medallions associated with these bosses yet. However, I do remember there being a leak about a new type of hunting rifle, so I would assume there will be a mythic version of that, since Fortnite typically adds a mythic version of the new weapons they introduce. But moving on, guys, I know a lot of you are curious about how the chapter 6 map will look, and believe it or not, we already have a ton of info about it. So the first initial leak we got was actually in that roadmap that I think leaked almost a year ago, and some people seem to think that behind the chapter 6 text was actually a bunch of floating islands, and it actually looks somewhat close to the Disney metaverse idea that they revealed. And while we've never seen a map in Fortnite where it's just a bunch of floating islands, so it for sure would be a really unique map and pretty interesting to play. And remember, in the beginning of chapter 4, before that map formed together, the 0 point was pulling different pieces of different maps throughout the universe, so there's no way they haven't had the thought of doing this idea in the past. And while it turns out in the game files right now they already have some of the pieces in the map in the files, the first one is called a Highlands biome, and right now we just have like the ambient noise that you'll hear in the background when you're running around at the POIs. So obviously it's nothing too crazy, but we do know it's a Highlands biome, so you guys might have some guesses or ideas on what that could be. And we also have the ambient sounds from the dojo biomes, or the dojo points of interest, which I think may be similar if not the same as the chapter 4 ones. And that would make sense because we were talking about those shrines earlier that we take the sprites to, so we know there's going to be some sort of dojo or shrines around the map anyways. And finally, a somewhat big leak about the map is the actual skybox. We already know what the whole day and night cycle is going to look like, so I know it's kind of hard to picture without, you know, the rest of the map being there. That obviously makes a huge difference, but the reddish tint on the sunset looks pretty cool, and I definitely think it looks better than the chapter 5 skybox, because in my opinion I don't think the chapter 5 one looks that great. So yeah, I cannot wait to see this with the full map. And actually, another interesting leak that has kind of something to do with the map is the fact there's going to be a new mini battle royale game mode that's coming in chapter 6. The codename for it is called Light Bunny, and it only has 50 players and will only be available for a solo game mode. It is kind of weird because that's kind of how Fortnite Reload is already, except, you know, with like the old POIs kind of infused in a smaller map. So if they're doing that same idea but with like the normal new chapter 6 map, I'm not sure if it has something to do with the fact that the chapter 6 map may be a bunch of smaller islands, you know, all together, and this would just be you playing on one of those islands or what. But another possibility is the fact that this could be for the first person game mode that we've literally been waiting for years to come out at this point. I swear I was talking about a first person leak like 4 years ago and it still hasn't happened. They're actually testing the first person mode in creative right now, so I guess that's kind of a good sign. But since they now have something in the files that's specifically named chapter 6 and it's for first person, I can at least say I'm slightly more confident that it'll actually come out at this point. And if you combine that with the fact that we have this new smaller battle royale, I think it kind of does fit together, because I feel like if you were to play a normal battle royale match in the first person mode, it would make the map feel a lot bigger. I don't know, that I could be wrong about that. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then finally, while we're still on the topic of LTMs, we still have that open world game mode that Epic has been working on apparently for like years now too. I mean, the leaks about this honestly might go as far back as the first person mode leaks. So I mean, who knows? It could be connected to this, but the open world mode, I'm not gonna lie, I have super little faith of actually coming out, but I feel like I have to mention it just in case it ends up actually happening. And actually, I almost forgot about the biggest LTM leak that was just confirmed, and that's the fact that the original Fortnite OG is going to be its own separate mode again, I think permanently, sometime after the release of Chapter 6, so it won't be right away, but they're going to be changing that Chapter 1 map every month going through all of the seasons, so that will be pretty cool to be able to get updates with that along with the Chapter 6 map. And believe it or not, they're going to have a separate ranked mode for that map too, which is just absolutely crazy. I feel like they have so many different game modes now, and I wonder if them bringing this back is going to have a similar level of hype as when they brought it back the first time. Obviously, I don't think it'll be as big, but I really wonder if there's like a ton of people out there that just prefer to play the original Fortnite and don't care for all the crazy new stuff. And actually, guys, as I was just finishing this video, another POI got leaked called Industrial Town. So that is pretty interesting because that doesn't necessarily fit the Japanese theme, but I mean, of course, the entire map isn't going to be Japanese themed, so it makes sense. And then another small leak is the fact that these forecast towers are confirmed to stay on the map in Chapter 6. And then finally, we can definitely expect some Disney crossovers to come very soon, as well as a One Piece collab. So let me know what you're most excited for, and I'll see you in the next one.